Salutations, my fellow creations, your friendly neighborhood witch is back at it again, but this time we're doing something a little bit different. I have recently discovered the wild, wonderful world of Reddit. I'm no stranger to Reddit, but the last time I had a Reddit page, I was with an ex and we shared it, so I sort of abandoned Reddit for a while. But I found something called Am I the Asshole? So what better way to spend a nice, cozy, cold night after eating some Thai food than to judge people who asked to be judged?
You're out of order!
This is what we've come to. This is what we're doing with our lives now. Am I the asshole if I don't want to pay back my husband for buying me a car that I didn't even want? So I see these car commercials all the time where somebody's like, oh, wife, I bought you a car. It's really difficult to buy these things without somebody else knowing. Like if my husband just came home one day and was like, hey babe, guess what? I got like 3 more houses. I would notice. Like there's paperwork. There's statements that go with that. Unless you guys have completely separate bank accounts or connections to things, you'll know. You will know. But let's see what they have. An ex-boyfriend bought me a 2019 Jeep Cherokee with 35,000 miles. My husband hates the car. He wants me to trade this car for a 2012 BMW X5 with 127,000 miles. Already off to a bad start because he test drove it and it's faster than my Jeep and apparently it's safer for me and our baby. Is that the reason? Not just because an ex bought it for her? I said no, no, no. 30k miles for 127. Not to mention the cost of repairs, especially for a BMW. He went ahead and bought the BMW and is waiting for me to sell my car so I can pay him back. She said no. Why would you pay her? What? No. And the BMW already has issues. Bluetooth doesn't work. None of the electronic ports work. He drives the BMW to work. I've never even sat in the driver's seat. I still have my Jeep. I refused to cash out my Jeep for a car I didn't want to buy in the first place. Since relationship timeline was in question, ex-boyfriend situation happened while then baby daddy and I were separated. We reconciled and got married 2 weeks ago. Ex-boyfriend refused to take the car back after I offered it. That has zero to do with the fact that's car safety. He feels so small at the fact that you have this vehicle from an ex. It has nothing to do with the safety of the vehicle. He's insecure. He's absolutely insecure. That's the only reason why he's doing it. Yeah. No. That's a him problem. That's a his problem, and be on the lookout for more behavior like that, because that doesn't sound like healthy at all. Am I the asshole for telling my wife that it was embarrassing that the house was a mess when I had guests over? Great start. Ooh, this one's longer. Relevant context. I, male 36, am the breadwinner. I already hate it. If you have to tell me you're the breadwinner, I already don't want to hear what you have to say. Just say you go to work. Just don't say you're the breadwinner. We're not in the 50s anymore. You don't have to tell me you're the breadwinner. You're not bringing home the bacon. You're working. That's terminology that makes people who stay at home like super belittled. And my wife is a stay-at-home mom. Okay. We have 3 kids, so the house is a little too messy oftentimes. 3 kids is a lot. So I get that childcare is expensive, and working and raising 3 kids, that can be a lot for people. My wife does her best to keep up with the cleaning and keeping the house tidy, and I feel for her. I really do. So I told her she doesn't have to clean up all the time since the kids are running up and down all day and making huge messes. I did tell her that she only has to make sure the house is clean when we have guests over, and she agreed with me. Open communication about what's going on. I have a bit of a bias just because I am female, but if it's what you agreed upon, it's what you agreed upon. Well, the other day I brought over some friends from work, and when I opened the door, all I could see was an utter mess. Food and toys and clutter everywhere. Did you tell her they were coming over? Because it sounds like you just came over from work. I was shocked, I was embarrassed, and just mortified that my friends saw my home looking like this. Also, I have a couple of guys who came over for the first time, so the first impression must have been horrible to them. I took the guests into the least messy part of the house, and my friends kept giving me weird looks and making indirect comments about the state of home. They'd sound like awful people to hang out with then. Like, I know when people come over and I'm not perfectly clean, I tell them like, hey, I have a house that I live in. I mean, look at that. That's a disaster, and that's on camera all the time. But I have zero obligation to clean it because you're not here. It's not your house. But if people start making comments or indirect things and it's, you got kids, I'm not liking where this is going. I was livid. I waited till they went into the bedroom to see that my wife was actually sleeping. I woke her up to ask her why she didn't tidy up the house knowing I was going to bring friends over. Okay, so you did tell her you were bringing friends. She said she didn't know, but she said she didn't know, but I sent her a text letting her know. She said she didn't see it. I told her it seemed like she did see the text, but decided to ignore it. She said no, but she wasn't feeling well and had a headache, so she thought of getting an hour-long nap. I told her that it was so embarrassing that the house looked like this when my friends came over and that this was avoidable had she cleaned up and prepared the house for guests. She argued that first of all, the kids are the ones causing this mess, and second of all, it was my fault for not checking twice with her and making sure the house was ready for guests. That's where my head would go. If you're telling me that people are coming over, is everything ready, and I do not respond to you, either something is wrong, I haven't seen it, or something. Like, call, if you don't get the instant response that you want from the text message, that's what phone calls are for. That's why they invented the phone call. Call your wife. And if she doesn't answer, maybe you shouldn't have people over because she's not ready or something. Like, or tell them like, hey guys, I gotta go home for a second. Can you give me like 30 minutes and then come over? Like, there's ways to go about this and you decided not to. I thought that was ridiculous because she was basically blaming me for her own actions or lack of, which I didn't appreciate much. I told her it was embarrassing, and yes, she gets part of the blame for the house looking like a complete mess and being out of control like that. She called me a jerk, then walked out of the room and avoided speaking to me about it and insisting I'm the one at fault in the situation. Am I? Having that discussion and agreement about cleaning the house is important. Yes. So, but there's also like, she wasn't feeling well. You didn't get a response that she was prepared for this. She makes it seem like that she didn't get the memo. So here's some extra information. I feel more relevant context is needed. So the reason I only texted was because this is our usual way of communication. So it seemed unusual that she didn't check her phone or any text, which is what I said. I said, if she doesn't answer you back, find another way to communicate. Because obviously if that's her usual way of communicating, why am I saying that way? If that's her usual way of communicating and she didn't answer you back, figure out another way because obviously something's wrong. Otherwise she would have responded. There's other ways to do this, especially if you're married. Depends on how long you've been married, but I assume you can do things out of order. But under the assumption that you had 3 children together, you've probably been together for some time. My kids are under 10.
Bruh.
All 3 of your children are under 10. Good luck keeping anything spotless for remotely 24 hours. That's not gonna happen. Unless you shelling out that money for that maid, which, if you can, more power to you, but am I the asshole for making my girlfriend take financial literacy courses in order to get married? I, 31 male, have been with my girlfriend, Amber, 29 female, for 4 years. Okay, both grown, good amount of time together. She's caring, smart, independent, and funny. Compliments? Good start. I love everything about her besides one thing. Her money management skills are horrible. She's the kind of person who doesn't understand the concept of saving money. She gets her paychecks. She's an RN. She's a registered nurse and blows it all. She never plans out things or saves anything. If something large comes up, she will have me pay for it, then will pay me back. Okay. She likes to eat out, buys designer clothes, and online shops things for our house. I've tried sitting her down and explaining things to her. I was a finance major and work in the industry, so I'm comfortable managing money. Okay, time out. She is a registered nurse, okay? So she's an RN. Or at least to me, that's what RN means registered nurse. You work in the financial industry, so you already have a bias about how certain people will use their money because you work in the financial industry. You have to check that at the door sometimes. But let's see how you go. I've tried getting her to set up different mechanisms for saving, but she won't do it. Amber has given money to fake charities multiple times. Also, she gives her sister money every month through her nieces. So, she will give people money all the time for random causes. I've tried asking her to go to financial literacy courses. I've spoken at these before, and they help people learn to save, invest, and manage their money. So on New Year's, one of our friends got engaged. Amber, while excited, was oddly quiet on the ride home. She asked when I would be ready to propose. Oh boy. I told her that I loved her and only one thing is holding me back. Amber asked what it was, and I said her money management. That I was nervous that I'd be the only one saving in case anything happened, that she would give our money away or blow it. And I wanted a prenup along with her going to financial courses in order to feel comfortable getting married. She got super offended and wouldn't discuss it anymore. She came back the next day and asked, "What is the real reason you won't propose?" I looked at her and repeated what I said the previous day in the car, that I won't get married till she attends the courses. As I'm nervous getting married to someone with money issues, I told my friends about this and they think while I'm being tough on her, I'm doing the right thing and looking out for myself. Am I the asshole? This one's kind of delicate. So it sounds like that she's not super intelligent with her money all the time, but it sounds like other times she's really just trying to help people out. I think asking her to take a financial literacy course at the age of 29 could be a good idea, but I think you're going about it the wrong way. If you are the person who does financial literacy, there is a way to communicate with her about these things. Those conversations can be really uncomfortable. It leads to arguments. It can be uncomfortable, but a lot of times, troubles in marriages and relationships will stem from financial things, finance, kids, belief systems of like how things operate and whatnot. But it definitely feels like she's ready for something more in her life. I think that's why she's excited about her friend being proposed to and wants to be proposed to herself. You can get a prenup no matter what. Prenups are just good ideas for people that are worried that something's gonna happen to their money. Like, that's just a smart decision. But again, those are awkward conversations. People get prenups all the time. Prenups aren't a bad thing, and they're not a dirty thing. They are protecting your self-financial gain. And if you feel like you must do that, that's fine. If the other person doesn't want to do a prenup, then you probably shouldn't be married. And if this becomes more of a thing, I don't think your relationship will stay together. It's not, and I mean, I never wish that upon anyone, but finances like this can break people, especially going back to the one where he bought the car and she didn't want it. Stuff breaks people. You have to find common ground on that stuff. But I think she could have a better management on her money, but I think there's a better way of going about it than saying, I'm not going to marry you until you take financial courses. There's ways to do it, but she doesn't believe him either, so. Would I be the asshole if I reported my boss for discrimination because of my desktop wallpaper? So at my job, we have computers and are allowed to customize our personal sign-ins, profile images, wallpapers, etc., so long as they follow certain guidelines. My desktop is currently a fan art image featuring a few of my favorite characters. Cool. An original creation of my own, faceless and standing over a globe of a fictional planet. Very cool. It sounds a little vague, but very cool. My boss pulls me into the office today and tells me that I need to change my wallpaper because it's political. Essentially, he believes that it's an image promoting diversity. How is diversity political? He doesn't realize these are actual, just images of fictional characters, and they just happen to be different skin colors. 2 of them are green, for Christ's sake. Okay, 2 of them are, okay. Anyway, I told him there's nothing political about it, and beyond that, his only knowledge of this image is that fractures people of different backgrounds. And so really his issue is that it is an image that shows different races living together. He does not know that the planet is fictional characters are mostly not even human. Okay. I don't feel the need to tell him that because why would an image featuring people of different races be labeled as political? He said that I need to change it or else I'm going to be written up. I'm not going to change it, and I'm willing to take it as far as I need to. Am I the asshole? I don't think so. I don't think you're being the asshole at all. That doesn't make any sense. It's literally like I can have like my desktop background is a pirate ship. Like look at that. That's my it's a pirate ship. Does it mean I'm going to go rob people on the open seas in a beautiful sunset on some sort of coast? That's actually a lot of ships very close together. That'd be a lot of accidents. Anyway, that doesn't mean anything. Also, you're not having a presidential banner or slandering a political party. It's fictional characters. I don't think you're being the asshole at all. I think your boss is being a total jagweed. Am I the asshole for telling my sister that it's her fault that her son, who's 7, is getting bullied? Okay. Oh, this is a throw. I don't care that you use different accounts, but it says throw away for privacy reasons. So my nephew, 7, is an awesome kid. I love him to death. He is a pretty smart kid, but has pretty obvious speech impediment. He talks pretty similarly to his 3-year-old cousin. Okay, think yayo instead of yellow, twat instead of truck, queen instead of green. It sounds like the kid has a cleft palate. Or could literally just have a speech impediment. Like speech impediments are not a bad thing. He sounds pretty childlike compared to his peers. If you don't know my nephew, you probably have a hard time understanding him. It often frustrates him to repeat himself while we try to understand. I really want my sister to get him help. I have suggested speech therapy for years. This obviously affects him negatively. Due to the pandemic, he spent kindergarten online. Now he's back in school, 1st grade. He's been getting bullied since the first week of school. Kids call him baby, and I'm certain the speech issue is why. I've also heard of an incident at school where some kids kept asking, "Are you sure this kid's older than me?" over and over. It breaks my heart and makes me furious at my sister, who has never once tried to get him help. She doesn't even try to correct or coach him at home. Dad's out of the picture, so it's really up to her. So here's where we get into the issue of if I'm the asshole. My sister was yet again crying about him getting bullied, and I told her I'm not sure why she's upset, considering it's 100% her fault that he is getting bullied. See, no, that's where you f***ed up. We've known that it is an issue since he was 4. Now our mom is involved and mad because if I'm implying that it's her fault, I'm suggesting that he deserves to be bullied. It's such a sensitive issue in our family, but nobody seems to want to do anything to help. Am I the asshole? So you were onto something in that you just wanted the kid to go through speech therapy, which a lot of, depending on where your kid goes, where the kid goes to school, there's a lot of speech therapy things in public schools. Private schools might be a little bit different. I don't know. In charter schools, I have no idea. But public schools usually have some sort of speech therapist that will take your kid out of a certain class, will run them through different exercises to articulate the muscles in the mouth or jaw that are askewed. So things could change, but you just want the kid to get speech therapy. Okay, I get it. Also, mom's a single mom. That's tough, okay? But here's where you became the asshole. You became the asshole when you said it was 100% her fault that he was getting bullied, because it's not. Kids are mean. Kids are really, 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 really mean. I wear glasses. I got bullied for wearing glasses. I had to wear an eye patch. I got bullied because my name rhymes with other things, my actual name. Like, kids are mean. But it is not 100% mom's fault that her kid is getting bullied. I'm sorry. You are the asshole for saying that. You're not an asshole for wanting your nephew to get some help and treatment for something that you think is wrong, that's physically wrong. But you are an asshole for telling your sister that it's her fault. That's so wildly unfair. I'm going to end this episode with a nice funny meme because things got really serious and heavy there and stuff like that. But teachers don't write on the table. Kids in the back with a chisel creating art. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, gang. That's it for me. Let me know if you like videos like this. Maybe not the am I the asshole all the time videos, but hey, something new, something different, changing it up, keep the body guessing. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, ring-a-ding the little bell so you know when the other stuff is coming up. I got videos coming. I got Twitch streams on Thursdays and Tuesdays, and why did I say those backwards? But, I'm here. Bye.